welcome to another online community forum with the Mustard Seed Project of Key Peninsula. Please note that this live presentation will be recorded and viewable on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. All Zoom attendees, please go ahead and mute yourself so that when Kris does her presentation, we can all hear what she's saying. Questions can be submitted via the chat box, either on Zoom or Facebook, and we will gladly read those out later during our question and answer. Or for those that are on Zoom, you're welcome to ask yourself. And I would like to now introduce Eric Blugin, our Executive Director of the Mustard Seed Project.
Thank you, Heather. Yes, my name's Eric, and I am the Executive Director of the Mustard Seed Project. And our mission is really to serve seniors and to help seniors stay as they get older in their homes. So we provide a range of programs to support that: transportation, meal deliveries during the pandemic, home repairs, yard care, all sorts of things like that. And then we also, when we're able to, do programs at the Crandall Center, our center in Key Center, and we have yoga and sail and Tai Chi and all of those things as well. And soon we're going to be breaking ground on our assisted living homes as well in Key Center, hopefully this next month, thanks to a lot of community support. But today we have Kris with us, as Heather said. Kris Dowling, who's the who actually lives on the KP and works with the Aging Disability Resource Center, which I like this description, is the front door to the local long-term support services system. So ADRC is, we work a lot with, and they provide information, community outreach and education, access to services, planning, care coordination, all sorts of things that people need, not just older folks, but those with disabilities and their caregivers as well. So really happy to have Kris here today. There will be a chance to ask questions, as Heather said, at the end. But Kris, go ahead, and looking forward to hear your talk.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. Oh, just wait a second. So as Eric was saying, thank you so much, Eric, for that kind introduction. My name is Kris Dowling, and I have been a social worker working with seniors and people with disabilities for almost 20 years now. I started as a social worker in skilled nursing facilities, and I apologize if you hear my dogs barking in the background. This is the joy of working from home, is dogs seeing squirrels and such and just barking. So please excuse them, I apologize. So as I was saying, my first 10 years, I was a social worker in skilled nursing facilities working with seniors. And then about 9 years ago, I started working with Pierce County with the Aging and Disability Resource Center. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. And if you'll give me just a second, I'm going to get my presentation up here. And just to confirm from Heather and Eric that that's what you're seeing is the main page that we were talking about. Does that look good?
Yes, that looks great.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. So the Aging and Disability Resource Center is a service that's provided through Pierce County. A lot of people think that we work for Department of Social and Health Resources, and that's Department of Health and Social Services is actually through DSHS, and that is a state program. So we are actually a county program. And so I wanted to explain kind of where we are housed within Pierce County. And let's see if it's going to be, there it goes. Okay. So Pierce County, when asked, people will say, you know, what area do you serve? And I will say our agency serves from the end of the Key Peninsula all the way to the mountain. And so our group serves all of Pierce County. So we go out and see people all over the place. And as you can see, under that Pierce County government umbrella, there's many different departments under that. And I've starred the one that says Human Services. Well, within that human services umbrella, under human services, we have several different programs and departments that are serving all sorts of different, or serving all different sorts of our citizens throughout Pierce County. And one of those services is the Aging and Disability Resources. And Aging and Disability Resources is a service that is actually, every county has something called a AAA, which is your Area Agency on Aging. And that's what ours is we call it the Aging and Disability Resources. We actually, Pierce County decided to wrap in people who have disabilities as well to our local Area Agency on Aging. So that's why we have a little bit of a different name. And then under that Aging and Disability Resources umbrella, we have several programs under that umbrella, which includes who I work for, which is the Aging and Disability Resource Center. You can see that we also have under that umbrella, in-home long-term case management, the long-term care ombudsman program, as well as health homes. But today I'm going to be specifically talking about, we call it the ADRC, Aging and Disability Resource Center. So a lot of people, ask us what we do at the ADRC, and I want to start by talking about what our mission is. So our mission is, like Eric was saying, is to be that front door to long-term support services. We are a group of people that you can call and get unbiased information, unbiased resources that are out there. We provide community outreach and education, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. We help people to access services that are out in the community. And we offer care planning and care coordination to hear really what's going on with your specific needs, and then to try to get you and your loved ones the help that you need. I do like to tell people that I don't have a magic wand. I wish I did. A lot of people will call us for services that may not be out there. We can get pretty creative on how we get people plugged into things and how we can get people help for what they're looking for. But unfortunately, sometimes there just are no really good answers. And we're going to be very honest about that. We're not going to try to just lead people on. We're going to be honest. And like I was saying before, not only do we serve seniors, but we also serve people who have disabilities, as well as their caregivers and just the people around that really care about them. So people will ask us, what can I call about? What are some things that I should or shouldn't be calling about? And I would like to kind of touch on some of those topics at this time. So we have people that call and talk to us about all sorts of services that are available. Oh, it's telling me your recording's in progress. Okay. So we talk to people about the adaptation of their homes. Our goal at the ADRC is to help people stay and live where they feel the most comfortable. And for the majority of seniors and people with disabilities, that's going to be, I want to stay home as long as possible. So we talk about how to adapt your home, how to adapt your environment so that it's safe, that you can stay home as long as possible. We talk about things like medication management. We do a lot of talking about finances, how to prepare for the future. We look at your finances where you are today, what resources you have, and then give you either really, give you advice and give you what options are available. And if you have a pretty complex portfolio, then we're going to get you to the right person who's able to manage those things, like a financial planner, an elder law financial planner. We talk about just technological advances that are helping people to stay safe and stay home. We talk about caregiving options that might be out in the community. Employment options, if people are looking for employment, what employment resources are out there for people who are elderly or disabled. We do a lot of care coordination with doctors' offices to, unfortunately, the doctor can't see what's happening at home. And sometimes that's the piece that's missing, is really to have some eyes on the ground. And so we do care coordination to help out with that, that piece that the doctor may be missing. We do a lot in the world of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, insurance planning, We work with people extensively on those issues. What's the difference between a Medicare Advantage plan and a Medicare supplement? What would work best for me with where I am with my finances? We talk about how to keep people active. As we age, it's even more important to stay active. And so how do we get people to accept that and to participate, to staying active? We work on giving advice about legal preparation. What are the things that I need to do as I get older to set myself up for the best future for myself and the people that are around me that care for me? We talk about placement. If it is time to look at an alternate placement, like an alternate, if you need more extensive care, what are the next steps? What would be best for you? Should we be looking at applying for Medicaid? What are your options where you're at? Like I said, we talk about how to keep people active, how to keep people in their community and engaged. Something we really focus in on and we get a lot of questions about are families who are working through that dementia process. 1 in 10 people over the age of 65 are starting to or have developed Alzheimer's dementia. So that's 10%, and that's just Alzheimer's dementia. That's not all the different types of dementia. So if we're looking at 10% of our senior population grappling with dementia, they and their loved ones around them are really in need of some support and education, and that's something that we can work on. We address behavioral issues that may be going on during that dementia time. We talk about how to keep people as functional and as active as they can for as long as they can. We talk about adaptations to the home and to their environment that may keep them as independent as long as possible. As well as providing some relief of stress and worry to the family. And then of course, how do we keep them motivated and engaged as long as possible? So it's a lot of stuff that we do cover. I do think it is important, however, to talk about the things that we really have very limited, if any, resources for. And these are issues that are affecting Pierce County, Washington State, and the whole United States. And so these are issues generally related to, we've all heard that, the baby boomer generation is getting older. We've heard for years that, we're going to start seeing some issues related to that. And we are. It's starting. We are definitely starting to see some of those issues. And so I want to talk about some of the things that the ADRC may not have answers to. Low-income housing. Pierce County is in a housing crisis, in a low-income housing crisis, especially now that with the eviction moratorium ending, we're starting to see, I haven't had one client yet who hasn't had their rent or their space rent increased exponentially. And unfortunately, I think I had read that Pierce County's rent is, over the last year, the housing market has gone up about 18%. Social Security only goes up 1.5%. People are getting pushed out of as becoming more of a place for people to come and live. And sadly, what that means is that many of our seniors and people with disabilities are either having to start to share housing, are having to move in with their families, or are moving out of the area. And when I say out of the area, sadly, we are looking at some desperate times. I actually just had a couple who were only able to pay about $600 in rent, and we ended up actually having to look out at Missouri because I couldn't find anything from Utah, Idaho, Montana that was open immediately, and that's where we ended up. And so the ADRC, we just don't have answers for those questions right now. It's going to take a whole community to come together. Transportation is a challenge for our community, and thank goodness for the mustard seed. Oh, working prior to being in this business before the mustard seed, I have goosebumps. My hats are so off to the Mustard Seed just for that little piece of everything that they provide. I can't give enough praise to the Mustard Seed for that. Medicare recipients who don't have a Medicare Advantage plan, mental health and chemical dependency are very difficult items to fund. And so those have limited resources. Hoarding. We get a lot of calls from families who are worried about their loved one in hoarding. The reason, and you know, they're usually looking for resources to help clean up. The difficulty is hoarding is actually, it stems from a severe mental health disorder. And many people who have hoarding don't necessarily recognize that they have any issues. And before you can actually manage the cleanup, you have to manage the underlying mental health issues, and those issues can stem decades. And so there is no easy answer to hoarding. We can work on getting the person to accept that there might be a problem and maybe get some mental health support. But again, there's no magic wand for that. We also get calls for people who are self-neglecting. And when I say self-neglect, what that means is that they are not taking care of their basic needs. This is a hard one because in America, we definitely pride ourselves as Americans that we should be able to make the decisions as we want to make them about our bodies and ourselves. The challenge is that as we get older, and especially those with dementia, maybe we're not taking care of ourselves the way we would have taken care of ourselves maybe 10, 20 years earlier, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have the right to do that. And so there's a very fine balance between the rights of somebody to choose the way they live and actual self-harm and self-neglect. And so that can be really tough. And also we, as you know, if we're the loved one of somebody who gets up and takes a shower every day, and you know, we eat, like, we look at all the labels and we eat really good nutritious foods for ourselves because we work and we can afford that. Sometimes it takes stepping back a little bit and realizing that that's our reality, and maybe that's not necessarily the reality that they're living in. And so we as case managers, we can definitely go and meet with the person. However, we just have to kind of take that balance into consideration. Guardianship services. So once somebody is actually no longer able to make their decisions for themselves because of severe head injuries, because of dementia, if the person is alone and doesn't have somebody who can act as a guardian, that determination actually has to go through Adult Protective Services, not through our agency. And finally, resources for bed bugs and other pests. Ultimately, we're going to be giving the person resources to paying for pest control. That's about the resources we have for that. So, though we help with a lot of things, there are definitely things that we're also finding to be a massive challenge throughout our community. So with the things that we do help people with, I want to talk about that umbrella of the Aging and Disability Resource Center. So under the Aging and Disability Resource Center, we actually have 8 programs, and we have 16 staff members, all who work under these 8 programs, and many of us are double dipping and manage a bunch of different programs under here. So for myself, I help with four of the programs that we offer. And so you may see that I'm working as a family caregiver case manager, whereas I'm also out doing things like this, like community outreach. And so there's 16 of us in our program, and I'm going to touch on the programs that people tend to be calling about. I'm not going to go over all of these, but I'm going to go over some of the things that we offer. So our most popular service is our information and assistance line. This is a telephone line that you can call Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And when you talk, we have 3 people who answer the phones, and all of those people are social workers for seniors and people with disabilities. So you're not going to talk to a receptionist. You're actually going to be talking to a social worker who has been working in these fields for years and years and years. They, again, they don't necessarily have magic wands to fix everything, but the amount of knowledge that they have, I love actually kind of sitting next to them and just listening to them, because even I learn, because they're constantly getting new information about what resources and services are out there. And so they can answer quite a few things just over a telephone call, a simple telephone call. We also have a website that you can go to that has countless resources that are out there, from things like geriatric case management to elder law services to house cleaning services to legal services. I mean, once you kind of delve into that website, you can really get a lot of information, maybe even get your question answered if you're looking to kind of go to a one-stop shop. But when you call and talk to the telephone case managers, if they deem that you need a little bit more hand-holding, or maybe it's not something that can be addressed over like a quick phone call, or your issue is just a little bit more complex, they will actually refer you to something called general case management. And there's 4 of us who do general case management for Pierce County. And we are generally a short-term case management service. Pre-COVID, we would actually come out to your home and we would sit down and we would talk to you about what's going on face to face, so we could build a relationship. We would want to, some people wouldn't want us out to their home, and that's okay. We can meet at coffee shops or wherever is needed throughout the, the area that you're living in. But we would actually come out and talk to you and really dig deep into what's going on and assess what are good options. In no way are we there to tell people what to do. We get a lot of family members who will call us and say, well, I need you to go out and tell my mom she has to do that. And that's really not what we're there for. We're there to hear what's going on and offer options. We cannot force anybody out of their home. We cannot force anybody to take our services. If they don't want our services, they don't have to take our services. I love this comic here. To the left, it's showing the Fountain of Youth, and to the right, it's showing the Fountain of Bacon. The reason I love this is of course, we have family members who love us so much and they want what's best for us, and they want us to head to that Fountain of Youth and be following every single rule. And, as we age, sometimes that may not be the priority. That may not be what our goals are. And so we talk to people, and our client themselves is the senior. And so we definitely are there to find out what their goals are and then help walk them towards that. Now, if their goal is the Fountain of Youth, but they're living in the Fountain of Bacon, well, then we can definitely kind of address that a little bit and say, I hear that your goal is to have this long life, this long, healthy life, but these are some of the choices that you're making. Can you see how that would be confusing to people about what you're looking for? I do say that clients have to accept our services, and we get a lot of family members who say, you'll never get your foot in the door. There's no way they're going to let you in. They don't want to hear what you have to say. And I just want to say that we're pretty good at getting our foot in the door. We're pretty good at letting people know right off the bat that we're not here to tell them what to do. We're here to listen and provide options, but it is still their life and it's still their choices. And sometimes it takes us, I've had, and I know this will be so frustrating to those families that want immediate answers and immediate results. And I have to generally say to people is that sometimes it takes us kind of going out, having a conversation, planting a seed, and then stepping away for a while. And then let's say, we're 4 months, 5 months down the road and the person maybe falls. And now they realize like, oh shoot, like, wow, I am in a bit of trouble. then the family calls us back, and then I may go out again and say, hi, like, hey, now I hear things are a little different, but I've already kind of planted that seed. And so sometimes it takes a while, and it takes multiple interactions with that person to just get the needle moving just a little bit. So I tell families, I'm like, don't give up, but these are lifelong decisions this person has made, and lifelong, maybe lifelong, just ways that they have lived their life. And we're not going to fix that in one easy, quick talk. Right now, unfortunately, with coronavirus, we're not doing in-home visits, unfortunately. It is really, for those of us who love our clients and love to see people and interact with them, it has been really challenging. We were close to getting back out and doing home visits, and then now the new mask mandate. So we're just waiting to hear what the next steps are. But in the meantime, we can do Zoom visits like you're seeing here. We can do telephone visits. That is a little bit more challenging for our people with dementia. But we're still here, we're not giving up, and we're gonna keep charging ahead as best we can. Another program that we offer that I think is so underutilized throughout the whole county is called the Family Caregiver Support Program. So this is not the COPES program. A lot of people here are aware of that COPES program under Medicaid, where you can only have a very specific amount of money. There's estate recovery. That's not this program. This is a different program. This is a program to support somebody who is either taking care of somebody that they live with, or it may be somebody that they are taking care of at least 40 hours a week unpaid. So this is for the unpaid caregiver. So many times this is a spouse. The whole point of the Family Caregiver Support Program is to kind of wrap our arms around that caregiver who is providing care and getting burnt out and just feeling stressed, so that they can continue to do what they need to do to take care of their loved one in their home. There's a lot of different services that we can do to try to reduce some of that stress, including offering caregiving supplies, life alert buttons, training, as well as counseling, as well as we offer some respite care. It's not a lot, but it is enough for the person to be able to kind of get out of the house and take a breather. The respite care is the only thing that may cost any money, but the majority of people, it's such a generous program that the majority of people don't end up paying anything. And so it's 24 hours a month, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's like 2-3 hour sessions a week that the person can get out of the house. Or we can have your loved one actually go to an adult day health center where they can get exercise, they can get socialization, some physical therapy, they get fed, they get activities. It's just a really great service. And if you're interested, you just want to call that main number, which I'll post here at the end. So this is a very underutilized program that is just fantastic. Plus you get a case manager, a long-term case manager to talk to as your loved one progresses through their issues. You have somebody you can bounce ideas off of. The next program is called MAC to SOA. This is a fairly new program from the Department of Social and Health Services, DSHS, or Medicaid. This is an alternative to that COPES program. So that the COPES program under the state of Washington has a pretty limited income and resource limit, as well as they impose estate recovery after the person has passed or the spouse has passed. And under this program, there's much more generous income requirements, much more generous resource limits, and there is no estate recovery. You are going to get less hours than you would under COPES, but there's no charge for the help like there may be under COPES. Now, all of that being said, a lot of people, may be thinking, I don't know the difference. Like, what's the difference? Should I do family caregiver? Should I do COPES? Should I do MAC to SOA? Well, to back up, that's why we have that general case management. You would actually start there, and we would explore your income, we would explore your assets, we would explore how much help you need, and then we would start to fit people into the programs that would work best for Finally, and we do have some other programs, but these are the big ones that I kind of want to wrap up with. We do over 200 events of outreach and education to seniors and people with disabilities throughout Pierce County a year. We actually have one coming up via Zoom, so it'll be just like this, a Zoom call, and it's a 6-part series on dementia that is hosted by myself as well as Jessica Gerard. It's a 6-week course. It's once a week, and it's going to be starting in the middle of September, I believe. And you can find out about all the different outreach and education resources, which are always free, at our website, pierceadrc.org, or you can call us at our phone number. So there's our phone number there. It's the 253-798-4600. Or again, our website, the www.pierceadrc.org. I just want to say that the mustard seed, I kind of feel like the mustard seed definitely provides a ton of these resources for our community out here. And so we just feel like we're kind of, you can even start at the mustard seed and then get over to us, or you can start with us and then get over to the mustard seed. We know we're really building our partnership there. And so we're just really happy to work alongside the mustard seed, work alongside you, and try to get you the best help that we can. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kris. That was a great talk, and wow, all the stuff that ADRC does, all the things that you do, it's really impressive. And back at you, we couldn't do our work without you behind us, because we're always referring people to your resources and information, and it's just you're a great partner. Heather, do we get any questions on Facebook for Kris? You're muted, Heather.
Thank you. No questions on Facebook, but I went ahead and posted the website and the phone number for viewers. Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing that. That's great.
Yeah.
Yep. And if any questions come up, please just call that number and you'll get to one of us.
Wonderful.
I'm just going to ask one, is there anything that we could do to work even better with the ADRC than we're doing now, or what is the most valuable thing that we do for you? Is it the transportation programs? Is that really?
Oh, I think the transportation piece, as well as, for some of you that are listening in, you may have been involved in the partnership we did with the grocery giveaway this last December, where we served 200 people throughout throughout the Key Peninsula. And I had the opportunity just to kind of sit and listen in that main lobby that you have and watch the people that just come in. And I mean, you guys really do provide, I talk about our information assistance line all the time and brag about it, but really you guys are providing that as well. And that's just so key that we're all working together. And for those out in the community, Eric and I have been, throwing around the idea of having one of us come out once a month and just be available to the community. But it sounds like, there might be some social workers. So we're just continuing to build our, our groups. And definitely as the mustard seed is growing, and especially now that you've grown to this beautiful new building, we've been tossing around the ideas of doing more presentations out here, because now we have a space to do so. And so I think it's going to be a wonderful partnership.
Great. Yeah, we want that building to be a resource for you and for the whole community. So we're happy to do that. We're looking forward to the day when we can have people in there, much more regularly than we can now with COVID. But
absolutely.
Are there any other questions from the folks on Zoom that they'd like to ask Kris before we go? Or Heather, did you have anything that you wanted to ask?
Well, I got one comment from Deanne on Facebook, and she said, "Thanks for all of the valuable info." So
great.
Yeah, what you
Fantastic.
do at the ADRC is just so amazing. I mean, we can't thank you enough, and we send clients to you almost every day. So yeah, I mean, we do what we can out here, but you have that ability to tap into everything that's in Pierce County, and we're just super grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Kris, we may ask you to come back at some point because this would be
Okay.
definitely worth repeating so more people can
Absolutely.
hear about the things that you do. So thank you for
Absolutely.
coming.
All right.